What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about NIO. Go over some of the data points, break it down what really moved in, go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So NIO did go up a very impressive 6.03%, showing some signs of life. 349 the low, 370 the high. A lot of volume, so 74.02 million shares being traded. 34.5 is the average. So when it comes down to official news, there wasn't anything put out by them, no SEC filings. Rather, what really gained a lot of hype was this right here. So the ONVO L90 Presale went over some prices, so 38.5 USD. And then you can kind of see as well, it looks like they are doing a little bit of a promotion. So if you do put a deposit, so 2,000 yen deposit, you do pretty much get 5,000 off at the final payment. So a little bit more additional benefits. So I think this is a pretty good catalyst. Market saw it as so as well. And shorts definitely were somewhat fearful today. So for whatever reason, shorts might have just overdone it, but they did return 17.16 million shares today. So they were, I don't know, again, maybe in panic mode. Maybe they thought that it was going to be a little bit lower. I don't really know, but definitely shorts returning this to this magnitude. It doesn't happen all too often, but 12.33% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 190.2 million shares overall are being shorted. Aside from this right here, there wasn't really any macro data points. Next big one is going to be Friday evening, but of course that's going to be potentially impacting going into next week. Aside from that though, looking at the options, you had 12 million in calls, 1.89 in puts. 55% of all the options being done were bullish in nature. So this as well is something to kind of take note of, because normally you see it anywhere from like 1.3 to maybe at a high of like 3.7 million on a daily basis. Today there was 14.2 million in total premiums. Even right here, the last 5 minutes of the trading day, 2:55 to 3, there was 6.4 million in premiums. So big money definitely does feel like there is more upside, and the fact that it was done in the last 5 minutes is a fair indication that it might be rolling over into tomorrow. Even during the overnight trading right now, it is sitting at 372, so continuing the nice run up because it did close at 369. Aside from that though, from here, the bulls are under the impression that it will be above roughly $4 going into tomorrow and pretty much going into the following week. Looking at the bears, they're anticipating now for it to be sub 350. So the optimism definitely is rising. One thing to take note of though, with tomorrow being Friday, you have roughly 19,000 at that 350, 14,000 at that 4. So with NIO currently above 350, this is where you will see a nice push higher if it is able to hold that, which I don't really anticipate a pullback to below sub 350. So meaning market makers will have to cover 1.9 million shares. So most likely you'll be seeing some abnormal transactions tomorrow. And if not, then it'll roll over into next week. But one key point to watch for is that $4. This is where shorts might wake up a little bit. But aside from that, these are all the transactions that did occur on the dark pool. Very active as per usual. A lot of the transactions associated to shorts were done through here, as well as big institutions actually buying. So my apologies not doing a NIO video yesterday, but even the day prior, all the data did signal that big money was buying. And it's kind of comical because I actually received some comments saying, oh, you said big money is buying, like look at it, nothing's really happening. This is exactly why I always go over all the data points, because if a lot of the data points are starting to be bullish, does not mean it is going to just spike immediately. It might happen the next day or the following day, or potentially might never happen depending on manipulation. But this is why I go over multiple different viewpoints of the data. And again, based on the options that I just showed you, there is a very big kind of consensus that more upside is going to be coming. Someone even in the last 5 minutes placed a $6.4 million transaction that there's going to be more upside. So again, you can follow that if you like following what big money's doing, or if you want to short it, then have at it. I'm not here to convince you to do either of them. You just do whatever the hell floats your boat. Aside from all of that though, you do see with it at 369, it is trading right now between this R1 and the pivot. So 378 is going to be that key point that you really want to watch for that to get over tomorrow. Then 356 followed by 334 is going to be the support levels. There was one new analyst rating that did come out a couple days back. Again, my apologies on not doing a video yesterday, but you did have a Mizuho, the J, who does have a 60% success rating, gave a 350 price target. They did lower it though, because their last rating, as you can kind of see right here for NIO, was done on, it looks like April 10th, 2025. And that was a $4 price target. Previously at the time it was 335, so they were somewhat optimistic, but given obviously their rating that came out a couple days back, they weren't really that optimistic as they once were. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from that though, there wasn't really any new analyst ratings or whatever else. So let me know your kind of viewpoint on what potentially could be the next big catalyst. Do you think that what came out right here, so the pre-sale, was and is good enough to really push NIO higher? Or do you think that this is just bringing more awareness, just the fact that NIO is at an insane discount? And that's obviously through the PS ratio, because it does have a lower than 1 PS ratio, so that's just unforeseen in a lot of stocks. Aside from that though, on the actual chart itself, it is relatively overbought, and you can see that from the stochastic RSI. And this is exactly why I did mention, if it was to really move higher above kind of around that 360 range, then it'd be interpreted as relatively overbought. But today it was able to successfully get over that 50-day moving average. Even more reason and importance placed on tomorrow, because if it is able to close again for 2 consecutive days above that, then this is where you could see a very nice push higher. So that 50-day moving average is sitting at 371, so that's going to be a very big deal. Just watch for that tomorrow. Aside from that though, you also do have at 378 that super trend. So if it's able to get above that, then this is where you'll be able to essentially see NIO really move higher. And every time we see that super trend turn bullish, NIO kind of moves up fairly easily. We've seen this right here, so in July, and then as well as in 2024. So I think NIO is one of the only, like, I guess if you want to say it, value plays in the market. Some people absolutely hate NIO just because of the price action on how it's kind of always manipulated, but with shorts returning 17 million shares, I think it is fair to assume that it's ready to kind of move higher. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. Are you buying? Are you selling? What do you think the next big catalyst is? And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you are looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.